So someone asked me, should I be caring about LinkedIn? And I was like, 1000% yes, you should. Now, why? The bigger question seems to come in when someone says they're not looking for a job. So why am I gonna update LinkedIn? And that's true, but if your purpose was to ever use LinkedIn to look for a job, you kind of want it prepared before you start looking for a job. Most people are doing it reactionarily, something happens and then out of nowhere they need to update this resume, update this LinkedIn, because that now shows they're serious about looking for other stuff. But sometimes you don't want to do all that. Sometimes you want it already in place, so by the time you're looking, it's already a fishing net, You don't start fishing when you're hungry. You start fishing before you need to eat. All right, so that's one thing. The second thing is, just because you update your LinkedIn, it doesn't actually mean you're looking for a job. Especially nowadays, if you want to expand your network, or if you want to establish any domain authority, LinkedIn's the place to go. That's the place where you can share stuff, post stuff, share certain knowledge that would be of value of people in your industry, and that really shows that you're on the ball. You know the topics, you know all the latest trends, you know some inside information or tips and tricks or whatever it is. You show that you are the domain expert, and that's nice to have. Your company policies typically say something about what you can and can't post to some extent, but sharing the knowledge in your brain generally is fine. And you never know when that could lead towards become leads for your company, turns into a sale or something like that. Now, obviously as engineers, we're not really concerned about sales and things like that, but it does give you another dimension of value that you bring to your company. The other thing it does for you personally, so let's say you're going, okay, I don't care about changing jobs or anything like that. I don't want to improve the business. I'm just an engineer. But one thing that it does do is it allows you to then say, okay, I have to reflect now on what are my strengths. What do I know? What do I already have? What are my skills, right? So in doing that, you're going to see what skills you don't have. Or you're going to start to see what skills other people value and go, oh, maybe I should have these skills, or maybe these skills are really important. For example, you start typing in skills from your industry. Then you start finding out what other people have. Maybe you look at other people in your industry, see what skills they have, and think to yourself, do I have this as well? Because at the very least, it tells you what you should be trying to upskill in. And at best, it means you're making yourself already desirable to others in the industry, which therefore makes yourself desirable to your own company, which means more chances of them looking positively on you. Now, there's nothing wrong with that if they look positively on you. Maybe that leads to working on bigger projects. Maybe that leads to a promotion, because it's likely if other companies are valuing certain skills that your company is too. Especially when you're talking about the same industry, obviously. Now, it does act a little bit like your resume, right? That is an element. Your resume is a little bit different though, because your resume more, think of it as, that's the sheet of paper the interviewers are gonna print out and write on. So you need to allow space for that and things like that, and they need to be talking points for what you've done. In LinkedIn, you can kind of snazz it up a little bit. You can add a little bit more meat, a little bit more content. And the cool thing is, if you have any personal portfolios or anything like that, you can link it all through. You can add photos. Maybe you've done a speech or you did some presentation. There's just another layer of depth. Now, not every recruiter is looking at that. They're just looking at your resume, but you put on your resume your LinkedIn profile. That's normal now. You get recommendations from other employees. That's normal now. So none of this is going to be negative towards you. Now, if you're looking at getting feedback about yourself or how you are as an engineer, you can get it through LinkedIn. And that's pretty good. Now, I'll give you a little tactic. The cool thing that I've been doing now on LinkedIn, and it actually presents it quite nicely, is let's say you worked in one company for a long time. It just says worked at one company for, let's say, 10 years. So you got one line item, but really in that you did serve like 5 or 6 roles. You just put the same company, you put separate years, and then you just give yourself the new role of whatever it was, and then it actually formats it quite nicely. And then you can show the width of your experience. You know, the number of years in a certain role might show you a little bit of depth, how much knowledge you have in that area, but you can't show any width. So anyway, that's what you do. Give it a go. Put the same company, everything the same. Change the role, change the years, the from and to, and then it puts it quite nicely. That's what I do anyways. It looks pretty good. I recommend it. You give it a go. Now, your LinkedIn profile is the first step in many in like kind of creating your engineering picture. In engineeringinreallife.com, there's a engineer your career section, and in there we have an engineering benchmark. And that will tell you all the other areas that you could start to look at to kind of fill out, this is who I am, this is my career. At this many years, I've got this filled out, this filled out. It includes stuff like, your projects, your certifications, your training, and all that sort of stuff. So one of the pieces there is having your LinkedIn. In this day and age, seriously, you need to have it. You need to have it. Every company is going digital. Every company is like, keeping up with whatever the trends are, and LinkedIn is nothing new, and it's booming, and you can you can establish your domain expertise. Several reasons why you should be on it, and not many reasons why not, except for your excuses. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. Management's on there. No one thinks you're bludging. It's not like a normal social media network where you think you're bludging. Find motivation, see what other people are doing, and you know what? If you're using it and you go, okay, I've updated it, I put all my skills in, thanks, that did nothing for me because I'm not applying for a job. If you return to it in a month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, whatever it is, whatever interval you want, and you have nothing to add, maybe you should start thinking about how you're going to improve your career. That being said, that was just, a brief reason why you should kind of get into LinkedIn. As an engineer, it is important for your career. And just to give you a sneak peek of kind of when you go to the Engineering in Real Life website. So now we've got that domain. I'm actually creating a website for that. It's pretty close at the time of this recording. It might even be out by the time I release this video, but it's looking good. We've got the full picture now. Another writer on board, like I mentioned previously. So it's going to be good content. And basically, hopefully this community, this ecosystem keeps building up, which it has been. But now I'm putting a little bit more focus into it, and I think it'll go a lot better. So thanks for tuning in and accompanying me on my ride to work. And I'll see you next time.
This is the Engineering IRL podcast, a place for engineers in the real world. We try to break down engineering concepts and figure out how to apply them to real life. Let's become better problem solvers, better engineers. This is your host, Andrew Sario. Let's begin.